Today, we are talking about the invisible force that actually powers the entire financial world. It's something way more valuable than any stock or bond. We're talking about the currency of trust.
So let's just jump right in with a question. How is it possible that one single person's actions could end up costing you your job? I know, it sounds completely unfair, right? But as we're about to see, this kind of thing happens way more often than you'd think. To really get how this works, let's walk through a story that is, unfortunately, all too common. I want you to really put yourself in these shoes. Okay, so imagine this. You're a financial analyst, and you're not just good at it. You genuinely love the work. You get this real satisfaction from knowing that your research, your analysis, is actually helping clients make smart choices and build better lives for themselves.
But then, there's a problem. You find out a colleague has been fudging the numbers, deliberately misrepresenting the risks in their research reports. And why would they do that? Simple. To get in good with the management of certain companies, hoping they'll hire your firm for big-ticket investment banking deals. And for that colleague, well, it means a huge payday, massive bonuses.
And this is where the dominoes just start toppling. Clients, relying on those bogus reports, start losing a ton of money. Word gets out, the media starts digging around, and suddenly, your firm's reputation for being trustworthy and objective, it's completely in the gutter.
So with clients running for the exits and new business drying up, the company has to make cuts. Widespread layoffs are announced. And just like that, you, the one who did everything right, who worked hard and was honest, you lose your job, all because of something someone else did.
And here's the really sobering part. This isn't just some made-up story. This exact pattern has played out for real, leading to some spectacular collapses. We're talking about huge names like Enron, which famously took its entire accounting firm, Arthur Andersen, right down with it, and massive scandals at places like SAC Capital and Stanford Financial. It's proof that one person's bad decision can literally destroy an entire organization.
So when you look at all these corporate disasters, what's the one thing they all have in common? Well, it all boils down to the breakdown of that one vital element, the currency of trust. It truly is the bedrock of the entire financial industry.
So, what do we even mean by trust? Well, at its core, it's just a strong belief that a person or an institution is reliable. It's like the invisible glue holding our financial markets together. I mean, without it, people don't invest, markets can't function, and the whole system just grinds to a halt.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. There's actual data on this. A study back in 2016 asked investors a simple question. What does it take for a firm to earn your trust? And guess what? The top two answers were. It wasn't amazing returns or slick advertising. Nope, it was ethical business practices and transparent, open practices. Integrity is everything.
Okay, so if trust is so critical, but also so fragile, how do we protect it? How do we build a system around it? Well, that brings us to the whole concept of what it means to be a profession, and something we can call the professional's promise. It's a formal framework designed specifically to build and maintain trust.
So how does that work in the real world? Well, a profession builds trust through a pretty structured process. It all starts with creating a shared code of ethics. That's the playbook. That then leads to really clear standards for not just how you behave, but for how competent you are technically. And the ultimate goal of this whole structure? It's to earn and keep the trust of society.
But here's where things get a little trickier. Being a true professional is about so much more than just following a checklist of rules. We have to go beyond that and really understand the crucial difference between what is ethical and what is simply legal.
Here's a really simple way to think about it. Legal standards are the floor. They're the absolute bare minimum you have to do to avoid getting into trouble. Ethical standards, on the other hand, they're the ceiling. They represent a higher ideal. They guide you on what you should do, especially in those messy, gray areas where the law might be silent or just plain confusing.
And all of this leads to what is probably the most important part of this whole conversation: activating your own ethical compass. Because at the end of the day, it all comes down to you making the right decision when it counts. The reality is, no rule book on earth, no matter how thick it is, can possibly cover every single situation you're going to face in your career. It's just not possible. A true professional has to be willing and able to identify these ethical landmines on their own, and then have the courage to do something about them. And so that really leaves us with one final, and I think essential question. When the rules are unclear, when the pressure's on, and an ethical dilemma lands right on your desk, what will you do?